Greetings from the Nerd Cave. Stan Gibilisco here. I'd like to make a personal response to an email that I got from a reader of one of my books and also a viewer of the Nerd Cave vlog. I recommend you go to the Nerd Cave vlog. Just enter that as a phrase into Google and you can get there. But there were two questions. First of all, I'd like to thank you for buying my book. Algebra Know-It-All was the title of the book. The viewer is a confessed nerd, kind of an introvert. I can definitely relate to that. So this is for all you nerds and introverts out there who are interested in religion and astrology. Well, the first question that this viewer asked me was, what are my religious beliefs? And why do I have them? If whatever they are, why do I hold them? Well, I think that religion is on a plane entirely separate, or should be kept on a plane entirely separate from science, and certainly entirely separated from politics. Religion deals with spiritual things, and I don't think that science has the wherewithal to evaluate spiritual things. So my religious beliefs are, I will clearly state, I was raised as a Christian in the Episcopal Church. So my religious beliefs are what I was taught. That a man named Jesus lived a little over 2,000 years ago. I went around preaching about scriptures and prophecies, and people got really mad at this guy, particularly the Romans, just didn't know what to do with him. And so finally they crucified him. They hung him up on a cross, nailed him to a cross, and let him sit there for 3 hours until he died. And then 3 days later, he rose from the dead. These are the things that I believe. Why do I believe them? I was taught them. But you know, when you get right down to it, and you think about history, do you believe history or not? How much of history can you believe? How much should you be skeptical of? There are a lot of legends, for example, around someone named King Arthur, who was evidently the first king of England, if you believe some of the history. At least I think that's the way that it works. But he's a mythical, almost a mysterious figure. A little clearer, perhaps, is someone like Julius Caesar. But I never saw Julius Caesar. I don't know that Julius Caesar even existed. I don't really know these things from an empirical or mathematical or experimental standpoint. So when it comes to religious beliefs, I think there are things in this universe that the scientific establishment or the scientific disciplines simply don't have the wherewithal to evaluate and deal with. And religion or religious issues is one of those. Unfortunately, people such as Jesus, people such as King Arthur possibly, and various other figures throughout history religions have sprouted up around them, and these dogmas and all of these amazing hierarchies of power structures and all sorts of nonsense, in my opinion, has arisen out of the existence of some of these people and turned them into caricatures of who they really were. Jesus was a rabble-rouser. This guy went around making trouble for a lot of people, but he also made a lot of people really enlightened. Those kind of people get treated pretty rough. And then after we've murdered them, or after we've sacrificed them, we build up these power structures and hierarchies around them, which to me is just cultish nonsense. So organized religion to me is nonsense for the most part, created by man, man has created God in his own image, or humankind has created God in their own image in various ways, in some, not all, but some of these religions. One of my favorite philosophers is named Osho, or nicknamed Osho, O-S-H-O. All you got to do is go to Amazon and enter that one in there, and you'll find plenty of stuff by him. And he was a rabble-rouser too, and he made an awful lot of people mad. But a religion hasn't really sprouted up around him, and he repeatedly warned that that sort of thing should not. Please don't do that with me. Please don't make a religion out of me. That was what he said. As for me, personally, Stan Gibilisco, I can't imagine anyone making a religion out of me. God. Okay. Now, the other question had to do with astrology, and do I believe that the positions of the stars and planets influence human destiny? Yes, in only one sense, and that is that gravitational interaction among planets and various rocks in space have in the past and will eventually again cause some of these space rocks, otherwise known as asteroids, to strike the Earth. And believe me, if a 2-kilometer wide asteroid were to get guided a little bit off course by the gravitational field of, say, Jupiter or Mars or the Moon or even Earth itself, it could alter human destiny considerably if that thing smashed down, say, in Kansas. Even if it smashed down in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So in that sense, yes, I believe that heavenly bodies or celestial objects can, in fact, influence human destiny. But when it comes to astrology, all of this about astrology charts and all of the constellations, and this star going into that constellation, and this planet going into that constellation and out of that one, and dictating all of these events as if it's some sort of a mechanical contraption, all of which is governed by these objects moving in space, and all of our human destinies are guided by these little machinations in space. No, I do not believe that. Not only do I think it's unscientific, but it's also profoundly not religious and profoundly not political. To me, it's all just superstition. And I might add that I believe that some of the occult type of practices that can arise from out of these beliefs are downright destructive and dangerous. People can become obsessed with these things and lose their real life in the shadow of all of this, what to me is just plain baloney, just plain nonsense. So no, I do not believe in astrology as such, except, as I said, but that's not astrology, that's astronomy. That's astrophysics. Rocks in space being guided by gravitation to smack into the Earth every few thousand years. By the way, I think that Jesus, the man who I believe was in fact the Son of God, prophesied about events that would take place on the Earth, and the way that he described those events sounds very much to me like what would happen if an asteroid were to strike the Earth. So that'll just about do it here from the Nerd Cave. I think I'm just going to upload this video unprocessed and let it stay unprocessed. I might do the little HDR-ish thing on YouTube and wait the requisite 3 days before YouTube can process it, so that I look a little older and a little uglier than I already look, just for fun. But for all you nerds out there, all you geeks, all you people who are, well, not so much geeks, but nerds, introverts and everything, I can definitely relate to that. When I was a little kid, people used to say, "You're a nut." Used to say to me, "You're a nut." And I'd say, "Yeah, that's right. I'm a nut." Stan Gibilisco, signing off from the Nut Cave. Until next time, so long.